So 3:30-ish on a Saturday here in Pittsburgh. And I gotta tell you, I'm a little disappointed. Why am I disappointed? Because I help you make money on different side hustles. So on this Saturday, there's a lot of people out, and I expected it to be a lot busier. On what? On anything. Like, I multi-apps. I went online with most everything that I had, and I got nothing for like 15 minutes. Now here's what you can do, by the way. If you should be multi-apping, driving on different apps at the same time, so you can select the best order for you. If you're not activated already, just get activated on these different apps. It's free. So then you go online. Now, if you're not getting anything, and it's been like 15 minutes, I don't want you driving around without an assignment on these apps, because you're wasting miles. Until then. All right, if you're sitting in one spot for 15 minutes and nothing's coming in, especially if you're in a more rural zone, bump over to a little busier area. So I was in Greenfield and I bumped over to Squirrel Hill. It's a busier area. And you know what? I still didn't even get anything on Uber Eats, Grubhub, instant offers with Amazon Flex. Instacart even, I would have taken, but there was nothing really good. So, as you know, I took these on point pickup. Now, here's what's interesting about point pickup. You know, it's a last mile delivery service. I'm going to a Giant Eagle, which is a grocery store. Now, I have 2 assignments, which is ideal. I made my own stacked order. So the stacked order, it's 2 or more assignments for one driver. You know, DoorDash, Uber Eats, a lot of these apps, they'll send you 2 at once. But with some of these apps, like grocery, and I'm delivering groceries, but I'm not shopping, okay? That you can accept more than one assignment. What is even more exceptional on point pickup, which I'm liking so far here in Pittsburgh, is the dollars to mile ratio. How much am I getting paid for the miles driven? They've been really good. Caveat, to commuting miles. Commuting miles. So going from like Squirrel Hill, jumping on the Parkway, going up here north about 20-some minutes. But the drive to make these deliveries is like nothing. So here's how you're gonna weigh the pros and cons of that, if you should commute. Number one, do you need cash flow? Like, dude, I need money. I don't wanna sit around with nothing. I need something. And again, we talked about option number one, you got a multi-app. That's gonna be your first option there. Number two, then over time, if you're waiting 15, 20, 25 minutes, you're gonna have to accept something if you simply just want a cash flow, like bring in some kind of money. I haven't been to this Giant Eagle. I've been to the one in the center of the city. Trust me, I would have preferred that one. So is point pickup like worth it? I love it as a backup side hustle. So let's see how this location is if I'm gonna stay on point pickup, because I'm gonna continue to multi-app after this. All right, arriving, and that is a sign I wanna see. It says curbside pickup. Okay, there's the, okay, yep, there it is. Curbside pickup. So here's where I'm gonna go. Now with point pickup, they've told me, and the app even says you don't have to call. You just have to arrive. And they should be having the groceries ready. I have 2. Because again, I did a stacked order. And it says GPS location is outside the pickup area, but you may know better than the GPS. Confirm your arrival only if you're at the correct address. Well, I'm sitting at the Giant Eagle, so I'm gonna say confirm. Let's see how long they take. Because again, I've only done the other Giant Eagle. I kind of got saved. So, oh my God. So I'm sorry the sound is bad. I'm correcting it as much as I can, but the mic died. Here we are. I didn't want to wait until I get back home. I had to tell you what happened on these deliveries. So the associates, you know, it took like 5 minutes or less every single time so far. I've only done a handful of shifts. Every single time the Giant Eagle associate came out in less than like 5 or less minutes. Really good. I still think it's always updates. This is why you're going to want to subscribe, by the way. Drop a like in this video if you can. I appreciate it. So I really like point pickup. But anyway, the person came out, and you want to see what they put in my vehicle? Most of my grocery runs, you know, what do you get when you get groceries? Like 8 bags of groceries, if it's like, you know, a big shop, or maybe, you know, 10. I had like, what, 6 or 8 bins of grocery bags for this customer. I had to estimate like 25 grocery bags plus like the, big things of water, well, not water, like soda, like the little rectangular things of soda. And I think one other thing. Yeah, one massive thing. It looked like it could have been a Costco of like Dawn dish soap. And I told the guy, I'm like, please, as long as this is not for an apartment complex, I'll be happy. Can you imagine? Thankfully, it was for a house, but I still had to make like what? 4 trips? 3 trips? I think 4 trips. I got saved because I need to come back down south to go back home, or ideally, getting a better power strip. And I got this order on Uber Eats, Taj Mahal. Thank you. Look at the dollars to mile ratio. Now this is what we call a positioning order. It's going to position you, the ending destination, in a better area. A positioning order is strategic. Even though, like Mike, the dollars to mile whatever is not 100% ideal, the best thing ever, that's okay, because positioning is more valuable. It's more valuable than getting stuck 30 minutes out of your zone, or the orders you're going to get out here can pull you even farther away. It can go north, west, east, but I'm trying to go south where I know it's more dense. I'm going to have a lot less commuting miles. I just thought of another really good kind of suburban strategy here. So consider this if you're not driving in the exact center of your city. So I'm on McKnight Road right now here in Pittsburgh. It's north of the city. Again, like 25 minutes. I'm headed back to do this delivery right. Now this is a very good power strip. There's McDonald's, there's a place right here, there's restaurants all up and down here. So even though I don't typically drive in this area, whenever I did those point pickups and I accepted those runs, I knew it was out here off of McKnight. So what I would do and what you can do if you get pulled in a different area, I mean, your marketplace generally, right? You're not going to get pulled like 45, 60 minutes away. You're going to get pulled 20 minutes, 25, maybe 30 minutes. You're going to probably know where you're at, right? So knowing that this is a power strip, I can work off of this. I can just jump back to McKnight, take a run that's going to probably ideally get me, 3 to 8 minutes away. Ideally, I don't want to go too far away from this power strip because I know there's not really as many power strips like this one. Literally like one main road from here, probably a good mile up that way that's really busy with restaurants. So try to stay nested in that new power strip, even though you got pulled out here, you don't typically drive here, because listen, why am I going back into the city center? It's because I don't plan on doing like 4 hours for our total shift. But if you plan on doing like 4 hours, just continually stay where we're at versus like turning it off, going back into your comfort zone, get comfortable with another zone. Are there any scenarios where you're in a new or not as familiar power strip that it's worth it to go offline and commute back into your comfortable zone? So either way, if you get pulled into the city from the suburbs, I don't really like driving here, I'm going to go offline, go back into the suburbs, and then vice versa. When would that be worth it? I would say number one, if you literally feel uncomfortable driving in that area to the point where you're like, I don't feel comfortable doing this, parking, safety in the city, whatever it is, or pull to the suburbs, like I'm not comfortable because I feel like I'm going to waste my time. I don't really know the power strips. The one that's here, it's like, yeah, it's a plaza with like 5 restaurants. I don't think that's going to keep me busy enough, and I don't think it's worth it. Then that's going to be up to you to weigh the pros and cons of, is it worth it to drive 25 minutes back into your zone knowing you're in a very populated city power strip? And it might be, because think about this. If you stay in a suburban zone, it's not going to be hot out there, then you could literally kill 25 minutes anyway, getting nothing. Again, if you get pulled to a dead zone and you're like, well, I'm going to try it, you could kill your time just not getting anything. Now, conversely, if you get pulled into the city, yeah, it's probably, I'll say, going to be busier most every single time than a suburban sub marketplace. But again, that brings much more challenge. Like, I know my one friend, Jess, when she did DoorDash, she didn't necessarily want to drive downtown. I mean, the streets here, it's more narrow. She's unfamiliar with the roads, parking, all of that. Okay, so now that we're all done, I think it's time that you and I answer that famous question, was it worth it? I feel like this shift was a good example of having to think on your feet when you're doing this gig stuff, because I guarantee you, well, firstly, comment down below your power combo. I guess I just thought of that. I guess we'll call it the power combo of your two best pairing multi-apping platforms. There we go. So I did point pickup and that Uber Eats run today. Look at the numbers. So 3:15 p.m. until 5 p.m. Initially, that $23.57 from point pickup, $28.69 from Uber Eats. I love that order. I'm going to show you something about that in a second. $52.26 on this shift. That equals a gross revenue per hour, $29.86. I like it. I mean, I could have gone longer today, but for the time I did drive, I like it. 3 deliveries completed, received 3 tips on those, and I got, get this, a $23 tip on that Uber Eats run. Because like I told you, I continue to not see any surge, which is kind of concerning. I talked about Uber Eats cooling down, and we're kind of wondering when and if DoorDash is going to do the same thing. So that primarily on that order all came from a $23 customer tip. So 30 miles driven here with a payout of $1.74 per mile. I'm very happy with that. And then a tax deduction of $19.65. So was it worth it? I think so. I mean, the only thing I would have trimmed down were the miles, because remember, I had to go up north, then I had that positioning order coming back into the city, out of the city slightly to the Mountain Washington area here in Pittsburgh. But I mean, the pay per mile is great. It's $1.74. And then the earnings per hour, $29 for that short shift. I'm happy with that as well.